There we go.
What's up, man? Thank you for joining me. So this is the Racebuilds build series where we essentially feature community builds. I've got Will here with me, and Will and I know each other from the track days with NETC, Northeast Track Club, and SUK Takeover. But Will, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I started tracking like a few years ago, and I currently have a few track cars, but the one that we're talking about today is my S2000. This is how we met. It's because we both have S2000s, and that's
Oh
kind
yeah.
of like how we, connected in the first place. And yeah, and I'm actually in my shop right now, Rumble Strip. So. It's where I work on most of our track cars and things to get ready because the season's around the corner. So.
Yeah. I've actually never seen the inside of this garage before. When did you start Rumble Strip?
So we started last year around officially like around like the end of the year, like closer to like October. But we've been in this space since like the beginning of 2022. Yeah, it was really more of like a overflow parking for both me and my partner's cars, because I can't keep bringing cars home and my wife sees them, so I put them here. And it just ended up being like, it ended up growing into what it is to come. And then we had a tire machine, so people wanted to install tires, and then we have a lift. Now people want to work on the, so it just kind of evolved, and then now we're working on like staff and everything. But it's been pretty good, like very organic, and everybody is like like really enjoying the progression, and
Yeah.
yeah, we have like we have some really good mechanics that work for us, and some really talented fab guys that we're working with. So we're designing things and doing things and stuff like that. And our sister shop is right next door, so like Charisma is down the block, and they do like carbon fiber steering wheels, blah blah blah. So it's nice.
You
We're
know,
like we're in a good space.
I might hit you up for because I've been looking for a good. I want to start hosting events,
Hmm.
right? And I've been looking for a good space for it, and trying to find somebody who has a space and might want to connect with like the community
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like build up their brand. So I might hit you up for that later. Uh,
Yeah. I'll show you the space after we jump off the call later, and
yeah,
I'll show
yeah,
you kind of like the setup because like that's usually what we do. Like like during the season, during the F1 season, when it's warm, we'll do like a barbecue, and then we'll put the race up on the wall. We usually do it down the block, and then now we can do it here because the space is a little bit bigger, easier to host. Because over there we have like a lot of like tools and stuff like that and whatnot. So yeah.
awesome, very cool. All right, well, how did you originally get into modifying cars?
Uh, I guess. It started with Fast and Furious, probably number two. I think Too Fast, Too Furious. I think yeah. I remember I went to the movies with my cousin, watched the movie. It was like, oh my god, this is. I don't think I was like, I don't know how old I was. I was young. It was like maybe middle school. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta, do this. And then that was the start. And then I also watched Initial D growing up as a kid, like when I was like really young, because like I'm Cantonese, like I'm Chinese. They had a Cantonese dub like for those series back in Hong Kong, and then we would be able to watch those too as growing up as kids, and that's kind of how that started. You combine that the 8086 culture with Too Fast Too Furious, kind of get where we are now. So LEDs is making a comeback. So
Yeah. Oh my God. I want LEDs. I want underglow so bad.
it's not
It's a
bad.
good
I
look.
mean, I mean, if it's done right, it looks good. You know,
Yeah. Well,
I,
honestly, the only hesitation that I have is I feel like I would definitely wreck them going off track,
oh,
and
for
I just
sure.
have lights just like strewn about like the dirt.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But it's gonna be like kind of one of those things where it's like kind of funny, where it's like oh like 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 oh the guy's on track with underglow on, But during the day it's
Yeah.
actually kind of hard to see, to be honest. So,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
yeah.
But at the nighttime parties, the nighttime beers, you can get
Mm,
the LEDs going.
yeah.
So okay, so you started with Fast and the Furious, Initial D. What was your first car that you started modifying?
Uh, I had a G35 coupe, early 2000. So first gen G35 coupe. So that's like the same G 350Z So, I was the VQ boy before VQ boys were a thing, But no, no pops and bangs, not that those are bad things. But yeah, I had one of those. That was my first 6-speed car. So first manual car. Learned how to drive on that. And then it also had Brembos already, like from the factory. So it didn't need a lot of things. Like it was a lot of car for me. I got it in 2009, not 2009, 2010, maybe something like that. I don't remember. It's a little foggy. But that was the first car I learned how to drive stick in. It was like a buddy's brother that had it, and then it had like 100,000 miles on it or something like that. And then yeah, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna bought it. He lived at the bottom of the hill. I was stuck trying to drive it away on the top of the hill for like a solid 15 minutes. That was my first experience, like learning how to drive, like stick.
I remember my first stick car was a Miata, and I was trying to practice learning how to drive it, and trying to go uphill was the
Yeah.
scariest thing ever. Like
Oh,
I
for
because
sure.
in Queens,
Yeah.
they'll they'll come right up to your rear bumper, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go straight into your car.
Yeah, yeah. I was in Brooklyn. I was in Sunset Park, so I was literally at the bottom of the park, right? And like there's like 5 cars behind me, and my girlfriend, now wife, was in the car with me when she was picking up the car. She's like, "This is the terrible idea. You should have bought this car." And she's like trying to like get out and stop traffic so I can like keep going. And all you smell is clutch. But we still laugh about it to this day, because it's like we learned so much with that car, and that car was like that first catalyst into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So now you're in an S2000,
hmm
among other things.
hmm
Why the S2000 in particular?
I think the S2. So I have the AP1, and with the AP1, there's a little bit less nannies on it, and I've noticed that. So I started driving on track with all-wheel drive car, a Subaru STI, and it was a relatively good car, but it's all-wheel drive, had a lot of nannies in it, and it's not that it's a bad car. I think at that time I was just like I could lean on the car very well, and I could just, just if the car spins out, it's probably really doing stupid things. But with the S2000, it's a little bit finicky in a good way, where it makes you a better driver, and there's no traction control. There's ABS, but there's no traction control. There's no smart computers to tell what's happening. There's no torque vectoring, all this kind of modern technology. And it's a very analog car, very easy to work on. And I think that was the basic of it. And I wanted that Honda reliability, right? Like VTEC all day, 9,000 PM, like why not? I think it was the best decision because like it took like my driving level like from like mediocre to like much. I'm not saying I'm good, but like it got better over time. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But last year like it had some problems, but this year it's been good so far. So.
How so you've learned a lot in the S2000. If you were to go to another platform, what might you choose?
I chose it already. Uh, so I have both of them actually. It's funny enough because I was debating. So I have, so we just picked up so my partner has a white GR86. My business partner, he has a white GR86 that you've seen that track, you've seen at NETC
Yep.
Westlake. So his car is now we're already past that first development phase, and now we're on to full aero and full everything. The only thing that we're not really touching is the engine. Like we haven't decided if we want to tune it yet, but as of right now, it's pretty fast. It does like low 30s at Thunderbolt, our local track, and like 32s was the best that we got with it. So with Aero, I think we can push to like 29, 28, and also new suspension and things like that. And we're working with one of our partners to do that. And then long story short, we bought another one. So now we have a black one. So yin to yang. So and we have a black GR86 that will be kind of like a semi shop car slash development car, and then I also have a Supra that I also bought at the same time. So
You got a Super too.
yeah, I got a Supra also. Yeah, so I got an 890. So yeah, I wanted to do Street GT class in Grid Life this year. So I want to do no wing,
Okay.
like decent power, but like wheels, suspension, things like that. So like the same kind of like thing, like that we were talking about last year. Because we already like, I mean, you were competing in Club TR with me this past summer,
Yep.
and then now this coming year we have three grid life events here in the East Coast, and then I was like, you know what, like I love the S2000. Don't get me wrong. I was just like, I kind of like want to try a different platform and try a different class too, because the black car is going to be in the TR class. That's going to be piloted by Jeff, one of our guys, and then the white car is also going to be TR too. So I was like, we might as well spread it around. And we also have another one of our customers who slash friend, but that might also do Sunday Cup. So we might have one car in each class, which is kind of good
Mm.
because it's kind of what the plan was, you know.
Yeah, there were a lot of Supras out at Grid Life NJMP, and my hunch is because I think a lot of them came with the PhD crew,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah. Most of them came with
Yeah.
PhD. So most of them were actually in street mod because once you put Arrow onto the Supra, then it goes into a different class. And it's like for NASA and SCCA, they're kind of banned in certain classes. So you have to go up. Same thing with GTA, like Global Time Attack. They don't let you do street class, like enthusiast class. You
Uh,
have to bump up to street class. So if you commit to one series and one class, then like that was the yeah, yeah, yeah. So but we'll see.
nice. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with those cars. But going back to the S2000. You shared with me earlier a mod list.
Hmm.
Do you have that handy? Can you read off what's on there?
I don't have it handy, but I can.
Okay.
Let
I
me.
I I think I have it here somewhere. Let me see if I can pull it up.
No, I got it. I got it. I just pulled it up.
All right.
All right. So okay.
Well, hold on. When you pull it up, it makes your video go away.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can read through it.
Okay. 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 Go ahead. Go
I'll
ahead.
read
Oh,
through it.
because you're probably in front of a computer.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
on my phone. Sorry. Yeah.
So I'll read through it, and at the end, I'm going to ask you if you have a rough idea of how much you've invested in the S2000, and I'm going to do some research after this and try to get some prices on these. And we'll see how close it is. And I'm sure,
Okay.
like, it's not, maybe some of these things you bought used, some of it you bought new.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
knows
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
actual prices were.
Sure.
But it'll be a fun little game.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a Voltex front bumper, Cybon carbon fiber hood, Titan 7 wheels. Which Titan 7 wheels?
TR10s.
Okay,
The 10 spokes.
TR10s.
Yeah.
StopTech ST40 BBK
Yeah.
front kit, Koyorad radiator, Carbotech pads, APR GTC 200 wing, Recaro Apple,
No, pole position. Sorry, it's like autocorrect.
Recaro pole
Yeah. Yeah.
positions,
Yeah.
Renegade short shifter,
Yep.
Forbidden hardtop Mugen style, Energy QR with Momo Monte Carlo, Checkered Sports tall shift knob, AIM Solo 2 DL, the Falcon RT660 tires, race bred front splitter, quick latch release, Schroth 6-point harness, hard dog roll bar, and soft top delete. Well, that's got to be the cheapest part
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah. Oh, I made money on that. That's a negative, right?
Oh
I didn't have to
yeah.
pay for that. I got money back
Okay,
for that. Yeah,
we'll credit
we'll
you on
credit
that one.
that. To be honest, I have no idea because it's been like 2 3 years like of like building this thing, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but and the amount of tires that I've been through, I don't remember. But I'm going to say maybe like $15,000, something like that. I'm just
Okay.
gonna give you a round number.
$15,000. All right.
Yeah,
We'll see how close
yeah, yeah.
close you are.
Because some of it came with the
Um,
car when I first bought it, but most of the
okay.
stuff is like
What were some of the things that were on it when you bought it?
when I got it, it already had the BBK, so it already had the stop text on it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It also had the roll bar. Um,
I mean, that's some good savings.
yeah,
That can be pricey.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that was about it. Nothing else. It had an eBay wing on it. I had to take it off and throw it away, like far away. I had to, in the bin.
You know,
You know.
one thing I'm not seeing here, unless I overlooked it, is suspension. What do you have for
Oh yes, I
suspension?
forgot about that. Fortune 510s. Sorry. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Fortune
That
five.
came with the
Okay.
car too. Yes, yes, yes,
Fortune
yes.
510s. How do you feel about those?
Oh, love them. They're actually a partner of ours now. I mean, we're a dealer
Oh,
for them.
nice.
Partner, yeah, same thing. But yeah, they're on the East Coast. All their stuff is rebuildable. We actually have their brand new 520 CRs coming for the
Ooh.
GR86. So that's a two-way shock with a mounted reservoir, not an external, which is really nice. So you don't have to drill a hole somewhere and mount it in like a random spot. The spring rates I
Gotcha.
think right now I have them are like on the S2000 are 14K and 12K. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong.
Ah,
It might be
yeah,
1410, but 14 and 12 I think. Yeah. So I'm giving away all
nice.
the secrets. I don't care. Whatever. Yeah.
Okay, well, so after you got the car, it had suspension,
Hmm.
it had BBK,
Yep.
it had what was the other thing you said it had? The roll bar.
Roll
Okay,
bar. Yeah. That's about it.
what
Yeah.
was what was like what was the next thing that you upgraded?
The next thing, I got a wing. I got the APR wing. Yeah. So that was the biggest
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
big wang gang.
yeah. This with the S2000, it does have that like funny. The AP1 does have that bump steer issue. So like, I mean, it's not noticeable on like a certain like different tracks. I think you definitely notice it more. But with the wing, it definitely made the car feel a little bit more stable. And that was like that was like the first thing I had to do, and also it
Did
completes
you
the.
track it? Did you track it without the wing?
Yeah. I took off the wing because the eBay wing was so bad. I tracked with it like two times, and it was like fluttering, and I was like, oh my god, this thing might just fly off of the track and hit some other car behind me. And I was like, nah, let me just. I just took it off with like some bolts and then just threw it away. And then I tracked with it like wingless for a little bit, and it was definitely a little sketchy. Um, you know,
Wait, did which eBay wing did you get? The Voltex rep?
no, it just came with this like universal like crappy eBay. Like I'm talking about like lowest of the lowest tier, you know.
Right.
Like you cannot make this up like how bad this wing is. Like you push it and it just your finger might go through it, you know?
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have the Voltex rep on mine and the eBay rep, and at Watkins the bolts started coming loose,
Oh yes, I
right?
remember that. We were
So
looking at it and I was like, hey, your bolt I was like, you're missing a nut here on this side. Yeah.
I was missing all of the nuts.
Yes, yes.
I was missing all. It was loose.
Yeah.
And you guys, I was like, all right, well, what's the worst that could happen? But I could see in your eyes, you and Blake and some of the other guys, you're like, well, I don't want to drive behind you. That's for sure.
I was like, let me just bring some zip ties over and just in
Yeah,
case, you know. But it worked out. Everything worked out. I think. Did you find
yeah,
extra bolts to like put the nut on or something?
I did.
You
I had
did.
to go to AutoZone
Okay. So you,
and get some bolts,
yeah.
and it worked. And I got lock
Oh,
nuts.
the
So
nylon ones, right? The
yeah, yeah,
nylon.
yeah.
Yeah. So those are
They're
good.
on there nice and tight. So okay, what out of all of those modifications, what has been your favorite?
Ooh. Uh, damn, that's a tough one. Oh, sorry. Just to clarify, the front bumper is a Shine Voltex rep. So in case anybody comes at me later on
Okay,
about this, I totally forgot about that. I should have said
I'll
Shine.
price it appropriately.
Yeah. Not real Voltex. No. I think uh, it's hard because functional. I would definitely say Recaros are hands down the best. Like bucket seats for a track car, it's a must. But the Voltex front bumper, man, like the Shine Voltex rep front bumper is
Yeah,
it really completes the car. Like it just,
it looks
oh
great.
my god, it looks amazing. Like I love that thing. And if the funny thing is that I when I mounted the front lip, there was no specific way to mount how you mount it, like unless you get the full Voltex, front splitter kit. But I had the race spread kit, so the somehow the air got underneath the bumper and pulled the bumper off at the front straightaway at NJMP, and it landed like rolled over a few times, and it's still in one piece, and it's perfect. And I put it back on. It's actually out for paint.
That's impressive.
It's actually out for paint right now. That's why I was like, I don't have really good photos of it right now, but I will.
Yeah,
And it's definitely one of my favorite things on the car.
that's yeah. I miss mine. It's actually one of the reasons I don't share pictures of my car as much.
I was there when you lost your bumper. I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was brutal.
I know.
What's funny is so with Racebuilds, now that I like have to pitch to investors,
Yeah.
I've got like one of the slides is like the team slide, who's working on
Yeah.
this, and I've got a picture of me underneath the car trying to like take out the remains of the Voltex and all the like shattered carbon fiber, and I'm like, this is me doing race car shit.
Yeah.
So at least, even though I lost my
Yeah.
Voltex, I can use it for investor
Yep.
clout. So, all right. Have there been previous iterations of the S2000 build? And if not, what might be a future iteration? Or is it, do you feel like you're kind of where you want it to be?
I think as of right now, it's pretty much like this is the first build, like version, I guess whatever 1.5 or 1.0, whatever it's called. Um, I might do a case swap. I think that's like the final thing, and maybe a different wing, something like that. I don't, yeah, like a bigger wing, and then I don't know, man. It's tough because like now I have so many cars. Like we have like all in all, like 4 or 5 track cars. Like, oh, and I have another. Oh, by the way, I have another FRS that another track car that we use as like a demo car. So a lot of guys who want to
Yeah.
borrow cars and if they don't have a track car ready, that's our demo car, and then they can drive that at the track, and we bring that with the trailer. But I don't know, man. It's tough because like I'm like, oh, do I just gut it out and make it into a full on race car? Like a comp car and like put a cage and everything and that. Yeah, my mind is a little bit all over the place because I'm gonna see how the season works out
Yeah.
and then decide from there. Yeah.
Well, I uh, I get the sense that with the 86, it seems like a lot more people are moving on to the
Hmm.
86 and the Super is getting more
Hmm.
adoption. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more of the 86 and the S2000 at the
Yeah,
track.
yeah. I think the support is good for the 86, and also
Yeah.
production numbers were much higher on those cars. So getting parts is definitely one of the easier things for the 86. Even Gen 1 and Gen 2, because they share a lot of parts between each other, especially underneath. The only thing that a lot of them need to change is the electronics, the engine. There's more power, things like that. And there's some, a few more minute things balance wise, but. That's why we bought the FRS because it was like a really great like base demo car, and also we can do a lot of R&D on it. And that car has a full Varus like aero kit on it, um, and it works really well. So and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like those support is out there. It's this is an early 2000s car, and I mean the S2000 is the early 2000s car, and this is a mid 2000s car, and the diaspora between parts are huge. So.
Yeah. It is kind of nice sitting in one of the 86s because it's just so much more
Yeah,
modern.
and you're tall
It's got the
too,
nice
so
stuff.
like it's sitting in an S2000 without bucket seat. Your head is, you don't clear it with the helmet. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I once had to sleep overnight in the S2000, and that was brutal.
Oh my gosh, I was this recent? Was this last year?
This was I think 2 years ago. This it was just oil issues with the engine, and I lost
Oh
the engine,
no,
unfortunately.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. And the town that I was in, there was not a single hotel opening, not a single room available in the entire town in the hotels. The only thing left were motels, and the cops highly advised me not to stay at the motels. So I slept in the parking
Yeah.
lot of a Honda dealership, waiting for it to open up. Um, I wouldn't even be able to do that today because at the time I had a reclining passenger seat, and
Ah.
well, I mean, as much as you can recline
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
S2000. Um, but yeah, it was
Oh, I
brutal.
can imagine.
All right, so last question: Are there? Do you have any? Is there anybody else that I guess inspires you or you like to follow in terms of how they do their build, their design, aesthetics, anything like that?
Mm. Uh, there's a few. I think the biggest guy that I really like is God, I forgot his last name, but his first name is Mike. He owns Stanceworks, like the YouTube channel. I don't know if you ever watched it. He was the one that did the K swap Ferrari build, the and
Mm,
the white one.
the
Yeah,
white
yeah,
one.
yeah. So it's a yeah, and
Yeah.
like he built that car for SEMA, but it's a track car first. Like he built it as a track car,
Right.
but even though it showed up as a SEMA car, and he shows like the thing I like about it is that he doesn't like sugarcoat anything. It's like, yo, I broke this because I made a crappy part, and it's like, and he shows how he made a crappy part, and he goes back to Fusion 360, does everything, and then like I appreciate that, like not everybody's perfect, and I think that's the thing about race cars, that people expect that even if you're like if you have tons of money, things will get fixed, and that doesn't happen. Like it needs a lot of time, needs a lot of R&D, and you need to go work through the trials and tribulations of a track car. And your days you go to the track, you go run one session, and the car stops working, and then you're like stuck for the rest of the day. And that's normal.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I
Yeah.
started trailering, because
Yeah,
I was having too
exactly.
much.
That's exactly same for me. Me and you started trailering at the same time. I think like this year, I think was like
That's
started
right.
trailering every event, because I'm just like, man, this S2000 might break. It's a 20-something-year-old car. It's old. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. If people wanted to find you or follow you, Instagram, YouTube,
mhm.
TikTok, anything like that, you want to share
Yeah.
out?
I mean, if you guys want to follow the shop, you guys can follow us on Rumble Strip Garage on Instagram. You'll probably see me there. So my I don't remember my IG handle. It's probably something really long. But yeah, this is probably a lot easier. It's over my head. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'll include links to it wherever I'm posting this video. But all right, Will,
Cool.
this has been awesome, and
Hey,
thanks for
appreciate it, man. All
chatting.
right, catch you
I'll see
soon.
you later. Bye.